In the dead of night, 8 people lay asleep in a quiet farmhouse, unaware that a shadow moved through their halls, carrying an axe.
What happened next? Was it a man, a curse, or something far worse?
More than a century later, the house still whispers. And the question remains, who or what still lingers inside? Welcome to Vortex Fury, the podcast where we dive into the darkest, weirdest, and creepiest stories you wish you'd never heard.
I'm Felix Graves, here to make sure you never sleep again.
And I'm Ezra Vale, regretting every life decision that led me here.
Today we're unraveling the chilling mystery of the Villisca Axe Murders. But that's not all. We're also digging into the infamous lost tapes, recordings said to capture the voices of the dead.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's talk about, puppies, rainbows.
Too late, buddy. Let's dive in. June 10, 1912, Villisca, Iowa. The Moore family and 2 young guests go to bed, not knowing it'll be their last night alive. The facts are haunting. 8 victims in total: Josiah and Sarah Moore, their 4 children, and 2 young guests from a neighboring family.
Let me paint this gruesome picture. All of them found in their beds, bludgeoned with an axe. The weirdest part? The house showed no signs of forced entry. The doors were unlocked. It's like they just let the killer walk right in.
The crime scene investigators found something even more disturbing. The killer had methodically moved through each bedroom, striking the victims as they slept. The murder weapon? The family's own axe taken from their coal shed.
Okay, but here's where it gets weird. Whoever did this stayed in the house.
Yeah, after the killings, the murderer covered every mirror in the house with cloth, lit a lamp, and just lingered. Some say he waited there for hours.
Waited for what? Dessert? Who does that?
The town sheriff believed the killer might have still been inside when the neighbors arrived the next morning, like just chilling in the attic.
Oh hell no. I can't even handle a spider in my house, let alone a full-blown murderer lurking in the attic. And get this, they found a plate of uneaten food in the kitchen. The killer had helped himself to a midnight snack.
The investigation revealed more bizarre details. All the victims' faces were covered with bed sheets after death. The axe was carefully cleaned and left leaning against a wall. It's like the killer was following some kind of ritual.
And the creepiest part? Despite all the evidence, despite multiple suspects and investigations, they never caught the person responsible. The case remains unsolved to this day.
So here's where it gets creepier. Ever since the murders, people say the house is haunted. And I'm not talking about your typical ghost stories.
Of course it's haunted. What else would you expect from a house where 8 people were brutally murdered?
The reports from visitors are absolutely chilling. People have heard children's laughter echoing through the halls at night. Ice-cold spots appear exactly where the bodies were found.
Stop, just stop right there. I already know where this is going, and I don't like it.
Too bad, because it gets worse. Doors slam shut on their own. Objects move without explanation, and multiple people have reported seeing shadowy figures standing at the foot of the beds, the same beds where the murders happened.
I swear to everything holy, if you tell me they've seen kids, I'm walking out of this studio right now.
Well, paranormal investigators have captured EVP recordings of children's voices. They ask questions and get responses, clear ones.
Nope, that's it. I'm done. You can't pay me enough to spend a night in that house.
One investigator asked, "Is anyone here?" And a child's voice responded, "Help us." They played it back for the local historical society, and nobody could explain it.
You know what's really messed up? The fact that these aren't just random ghost stories. These are actual children who were murdered in their sleep, in their own beds.
That's exactly what makes the Villisca house different. The emotional weight of what happened there seems to have left an imprint. Visitors report overwhelming feelings of sadness and fear, especially in the children's bedrooms.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it. And not the good kind, the I need therapy after this episode kind.
Well, hold on to those chills, because we haven't even gotten to the most disturbing part of this story yet. In 1984, a group of paranormal researchers spent 3 nights in the Villisca house. Were they captured on tape? Well, let's just say it changed everything we thought we knew about this case.
Why do I feel like I'm about to regret asking this, but what exactly did they record?
The tapes contained what seemed to be multiple voices. Some were whispers, others were clear as day. But here's the weird part. They captured sounds that shouldn't have been possible.
Shouldn't have been possible? How?
The researchers had audio experts analyze the recordings. They found voice frequencies that don't match any known human vocal patterns. And they picked up the sound of an axe being dragged across wooden floors at 3 a.m. when the house was empty except for the research team.
I hate everything about this conversation right now.
One of the most chilling moments was when they asked, "Who killed these people?" The response they got, well, it wasn't in English. When they had it analyzed, linguists identified it as some form of ancient Germanic dialect.
Because of course it was. Why not throw some ancient demon language into the mix? That's totally fine. Everything's fine.
But here's where it gets really strange. In 1987, all the original tapes vanished from the research facility's archive. No break-in, no signs of theft. They just disappeared.
Disappeared? Like poof, gone? That's not suspicious at all.
Some say the tapes were destroyed because of what they revealed. Others think they're hidden away in some private collection. But to this day, no one knows where they are or what happened to them.
You know what? I'm actually okay with those tapes staying lost. Forever. Some things should just stay buried.
Interesting choice of words, considering the last thing recorded on those tapes was supposedly a voice saying, "We're still buried here."
And I'm officially done. Someone please get me a priest, a rabbi, and maybe an exorcist, just to be safe. Well, folks, after diving deep into this nightmare fuel of a story, I think we're all wondering the same thing. What really happened in that house? And more importantly, what's still happening there?
The Villisca Axe Murder House stands today as both a historical landmark and a paranormal hotspot. Visitors still report unexplained phenomena, and those EVP recordings, well, they keep coming.
Look, I'm just gonna say it. I don't care if you offered me $1 million. You couldn't get me to spend a night in that house. Not happening. Never. Nope.
But for our braver listeners out there, what do you think? Was it just a tragic crime that spawned a century of ghost stories? Or is there something more sinister still walking those halls?
Share your thoughts in the comments below, and maybe your own creepy experiences. Just maybe not right before bedtime.
If you enjoyed this descent into madness, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We've got plenty more disturbing stories coming your way.
And remember, if you hear children giggling in your house at 3 a.m. and you don't have kids, run. Just run.
Join us next week when we explore the mysterious disappearances at Crater Lake. Trust me, you won't want to miss this one.